and welcome to the Homemade Podcast Sports. This is your host, J Pops.
And welcome back to the Homemade Podcast Sports with your host, J Pops. Guys, today's date is November 10th, 2020 in this great city of Houston, Texas. Once again, people, it is a good-looking day out here, but as I'm looking, I'm starting to see the little clouds come out. I don't believe it's going to be any rain, but what I'll do, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful day in the great city of Houston, Texas. On this latest edition of the hashtag Homemade Podcast Sports, guys, we're not going to get into any statistical numbers, leading up to the Tennessee game on today. I'm going to do that on tomorrow and Thursday. And the only reason why I didn't want to do that on today was because of, all of the news that we had got surrounding the airwaves on yesterday, with a couple of Texas A&M personnel testing positive for COVID-19. I'm pretty sure you guys got all the news. I'm pretty sure of that because I received it as well as others. Because I am up in Aggie sports groups, so those guys received it. So I know for sure. If you guys are listening, and paying attention to the football news at that, you guys have seen that Auburn and Mississippi State has canceled their game. The Alabama and LSU game it's now in the air. So we don't even much know if we're going to see that game this Saturday at 5 or 6 p.m. on CBS. So of course the news that came out about Texas A&M, so let's go ahead and address it. We want to make sure that we go ahead and get that on out the way for the guys that did not know, for some individuals that just may be busy in the day, things like that. I'm now going to bring some news out to you all. I do want to tell you this though. Do not get worried. The South Carolina game, the Tennessee game will still go on. Of course, as the athletic director had mentioned, it's not like it's an outbreak. It's just contact tracing. We have to keep these guys out for the 2-week period, which is 14 days because of contact tracing. And the guys that caught it was a student personnel and also a player or a staff member of the team, I believe. But it was only a student personnel and a staff member on the actual team. Now, what comes with that is that it was just a couple of guys that actually were in contact with those personnel. You know what I mean? So they have to play the protocols. They have to sit those 14 guys out. I think it's either 12 or 14 guys out. We have well over the amount of guys to go on the road and travel for this game. Do not get me wrong. I do not know who all of the personnel was. But also with that, and this guy here, he doesn't have COVID or anything like that. But Michael Clemens, people, yes, defensive tackle Michael Clemens, he will be out for the remainder of the season. I believe he had to have ankle surgery, or he has to have ankle surgery. But he will be out for the remainder of the season, and we will not see him until bowl season. All right, so if you guys were wondering, hey, man, where's Michael Clemens at, things of that nature, well, guys, I'm here to tell you that he will be out for the remainder of the season. It's a bummer, don't get me wrong, but just like I told you guys, it's the back half of the season, and this is where your depth chart plays a huge part into where you're trying to go for the remainder of the season, okay? So just please keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and get into an article that was presented by 247, and this is what Fisher had to say on pausing the football team activities and things like that. So Here we go. This is what Jimbo Fisher had to say. We have paused our practice activities for today. We will not practice. We will meet on Zoom with our players to watch the film and do the things we have to do. We had a couple of positive cases of COVID after we got back and tested on Sunday. And we suspended things for the protocols to make sure we do our contact tracing and all the things that go with it. We're retesting the whole team again today. Now, keep in mind, this article was on yesterday. Today. Then, of course, the protocols that go on during the week. So we're in those processes now. If there's more there and there's a spread, we're trying to prevent that and do everything from a safety issue with our players and our staff to keep them as safe as possible. So we'll do everything by Zoom today. You know, they done their whole practice on a Zoom on Monday. And then we'll make accommodations based off the test results we get back and the things that are going on in the contact tracing, in which we are presently still pursuing and finalizing. Okay, so that was a statement from Jimbo Fisher. Also, if you guys did not know, the athletic director came out with a statement as well on yesterday, and he was the guy that had mentioned that it's not an outbreak. Please do not think that. If anybody was thinking that, it's just a contact tracing protocol that has to be associated with these guys to make sure that the spread would not go around that football program and also around that school. So at the end of the day, man, I want you guys to think this, and not to say that nobody wasn't already thinking that or knows this already. These are 18 to 22-year-old young men that we're asking to deliberately go out on that field each and every Saturday. Also to go out on that field Monday through Thursday and practice heavily so we can watch them come out and play football. In my mind, none of us are in that prediction of where the game is at today. So we don't know how those young men may feel going out there each and every day. But we will give these guys their credit because they have not mentally checked out. Nobody has mentally checked out. They're following the protocols. They're getting tested every day, things like that. Me, myself, personally, I have not went and got tested for COVID-19. So I do not know how that feel. I've talked to many people that have been tested, and they said it's not a good feeling. They of course, I believe, stick something up your nose or get a swab out your mouth, things like that. But so you have to put into account that these guys go through this almost each and every day just to play the game that they love. So we cannot ask much from these kids each and every day when they're already going through everything in their life. And then on top of that, they're putting football on that. And then on top of that, they're putting the COVID-19 protocols on that. So we cannot be mad at these young men for the choices that they may make on this season, just going forward, man. But we will congratulate these young men for the effort that they put in each and every weekend and things like that, man. And also throughout the week of just staying distance as well, man. These are 18, 22-year-old kids that are in college. And if any of you guys went to college, and me, myself, I went to community college, that is hard to do because everything is just passing flat. It's just passing by your eyes. You want to go this way, but somebody's pulling you this way. You want to go that way, but somebody's pulling you that way. Those guys are going through a lot this year, and they're putting it in their mind that no, we're going to stay focused because we want to play the game that we love. And so we cannot ask those guys for much, man, but we congratulate those guys 100%. If any of those guys are looking at this video, us A&M fans all around the country, and football fans, period, to every team around the country that are steadily playing on each and every Saturday, we just want to say thank you. We are behind you guys 100% and continue to do what you do. We cannot thank you guys enough, man. Continue to do what you do. You guys are strong individuals, and just continue to ball out. All right. So, anywho, let's go ahead and get up off of that topic. So, I finished watching the Tennessee and Arkansas game, and this is going to be a summary report that I will give you guys. All right, so I finished watching that game. Yes, believe it or not, I have finished watching that game. A good game, to say the least. You know, I'm not going to lie about that. And like I told you guys on last podcast, Tennessee has athletes. You know, Tennessee does have athletes. They have the right guys. It's just those guys are not put in the right spots. Once again, I do not know what's going on with their coaching staff down there. Jim Chaney. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Jeremy Pruitt, I don't know. I have no clue why Jeremy Pruitt fired his defensive line coach, because that defensive line wasn't the issue. The quarterback was the issue. The quarterbacking was the offense was the issue. So I don't know. That decision right now is primarily coming back to home. All right. So got to keep in mind, he is a first time head coach. So I don't know. You know, this is just what happens when things like this go down. But also, hell, Sam Pittman is a first-time head coach. I mean, you know, so I don't know, man. You know, but anywho, let's get off into it. So first off, shout out to Sam Pittman at Arkansas, man. And I mean it. Shout out to that guy, okay? Like, that guy has brought that program back from the dead. You hear me? That guy's brought that program back from the dead. He's building something that should be in place for a long, long time. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that they want to beat A&M badly because we own the longest win streak against them. Yes, we own that, if nobody did not know that. But we own the longest win streak, all right? We own that longest win streak against them. And Holloway Fisher is recruiting and developing, developing, you know what I mean? Developing talent, things like that. That streak may just last a little longer. You know, it may just last a little longer than we think. But how can you not like Sam Pittman, people? How can you not like that guy and the positive energy that he brings? It's something special about that man and what he's doing at Arkansas, man. How the way, you know, after the game, you know, like the little interview they done right then and there on the field. The smile on that guy's face says everything of how he feels about his guys and his program. You know, he just wants to win, but also he wants those kids to feel like they're doing something. You know, he wants those kids to feel like winners also. So he brings a real positive energy over there, man. And it is hard not to like that guy and what he's doing at that Arkansas program, man. How the way those fans are excited right now is unbelievable, you know. And this coming from a diehard A&M fan, and of course, you know, Arkansas is one of our deepest, oldest rivalries. But what Sam Pittman is doing, man, that is unbelievable and it is undeniable. And I just want to let that guy know and the Arkansas program know that we are all watching, and we also enjoy it also, man. We enjoy it, man. Keep on doing it. I do not know what Chad Morris was doing at that program. I do not know how he brought that program all the way down to where it was at. Chad Morris, if you're listening, I just want to say to you guys, you in my opinion are not fit to be a head coach. Okay? Even at SMU, you weren't good. I have no clue of what anybody saw in you over there at SMU, but at SMU, you were not good. I hate for the simple fact that when these guys go out and recruit these coaches, they look at who they coach. He coached Deshaun Watson. He coached, I believe, Taj Boyd and stuff like that. Man, so what? Those guys were generational talents. That ain't have shit to do with coaching in some spots. And as you can see, when these guys go off to be head coaches, especially at big time programs like Arkansas, because Arkansas is a big time program, they don't do as good. They don't do as good. There's only a handful of guys that go and do good at those programs like that. So I mean, man, Chad Morris, don't get me wrong, he's one of the better offensive play callers probably out there, but how the way he drugged that program down where they weren't winning any SEC games 2 years straight is just unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. Anywho, let's keep moving along. So I will say this, and I'm going to end this about the Arkansas. In about 2 years, Sam Pittman is going to have a lot of big-time recruits who's going to come and want to play for him. Mark my words on that, man. I meant that. He's going to have a lot of big-time recruits that's going to come over there to that program and it's going to commit. All right, mark my words on that. I have not seen those guys get a 5-star yet in all of our existence of being in the SEC. I have not seen them get a 5-star yet. But let Sam Pittman continue to keep going. Those guys are going to start pulling in 5-star recruits. All right, so anywho. So as I'm watching the Tennessee versus Arkansas game, what I seen was that Tennessee program looked god-awful. I did not know that Tennessee looked that bad until I just actually sat down and watched them play. But what I seen was that Tennessee program looked god-awful, like seriously. I didn't know that they were that bad. But with a team full of damn good athletes, it's no way for your team to be that god-awful with all of those athletes in that football program. It's no reason. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, the guys are young. Some of those guys are young. But I just don't believe that that team is fully bought in on what Jeremy Pruitt is trying to do. And in my mind, looking at Jeremy Pruitt on that sideline, he looks confused himself. He looks confused himself. He looks confused, man. He looks confused. So, let me go ahead and say this. Also, I'm going to state this fact right now, in which I know all Tennessee fans, if they are listening, will come on here and say, man, you're crazy. But then again, a lot of them won't. A lot of them will agree with me. So let's go ahead and get on into what I'm about to say factually. But hell, I'm going to say it any damn way. All right? So I'm going to say it anyways. And I'm going to state some facts here. If Tennessee blitzes Kellen Mond, yes, people, if Tennessee blitzes Kellen Mond, double underline. If they blitz him, like the way they did Felipe Franks, then this game will get ugly. And I'm talking about real ugly. This game will get ugly. All right? And the reason why I say that is this. Kellen Mond, yes, Kellen Mond again, people, will either throw the ball away. Hear me out on this. He will either throw the ball away or either check it down to Anaya Smith, Isaiah Spiller, or A-Chain. Okay? Also, he will have, and what I mean by that is when I say he will check it down to those guys, is that when he checks it down to those guys, do you know how much space is going to be out there for those guys to run? Do you not know how fast Anaya Smith is? Do you not know how fast A-Chain is? Do you not know how fast Isaiah Spiller is? And for anybody that's listening, Isaiah Spiller is the slowest out of those three, but he's still fast. You hear what I'm saying? No. I don't think you guys hear me. Isaiah Spiller is the slowest out of those three, but he's still fast. Okay? Also, Isaiah Spiller is the guy that has cutback moves. You guys better go do some research. You guys better go study some film. Okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to blitz all goddamn game and think you're going to get to Kellen Mond with those maroon goons standing in front of you, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to touch him. You're not going to touch him. You're not going to touch him. He's going to continue to check the ball down to one of those running backs, and he's going to let those guys make running back moves all the way down the field. I'm not saying they're going to score a touchdown every time, but he's going to let those running back make running back moves. And next thing you know, they're going to grab 15 yards, 10 yards, 15 yards again, maybe 20. Hey, okay. Let's keep going. That ain't it. Also, he will have an option of throwing a curl route to Watermeyer, which is tight end, or either throw some quick slants to Chase Lane and Cam Brown or Hezekiah Jones. And I'm going to tell you right now, if he's going to throw them quick slants like that, by me looking at that film of that defense, y'all can't tackle neither. Look here. I'm already making my prediction of this game to be a blowout. Okay? I'm already making my prediction in it. I'm not saying they're going to get 50 points. I do believe Texas A&M will score over 40, though. I do believe that they'll score over 40. I said 41 in the last one. I'm going to still say 41. 41-3 was my prediction. I honestly believe in that, and I have faith in that, and it ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They will score over 40-plus points, and they won't look back on it. It's no hesitation in me saying that, Nick. None at all. None. I know that they'll score over 40 points. I know this, and no doubt about it. Contact tracing or not, with 12 or 14 players out, I don't give a shit. That team that we got and what Jimbo Fisher's doing, I already told you guys. Jimbo Fisher's caught on to what he has to do. He knows that he has to run an offensive scheme now because this is a new day and age of college football. But we will do this. We will play keep away once again. We will play keep away. We will run an old school offense, like I told you guys, but it will be in a modernized version. You can believe that or not. But I'm telling you right now, Texas A&M is going to run an offense and going to run a old school pound ground, but balance, throw the ball as well. We're not going to throw for 300. We're going to throw for like 250. That is our total that we want. Rushing will be over 150 though. Maybe 200. Rushing will be over 150. And that's how we win ball games. That's it. But even if you take the rush away, we're going to throw some quick slants in there to get the ball moving, and then we're going to rush it again. Before you know it, you look up, Isaiah Spiller will have about 3 rushing touchdowns. Don't quote me on that. Quote me on that. Anywho, we're going to move on. If Tennessee does not get at least 1 or 2 sacks off of those blitzes, in which I know they won't, and I know they won't, and I'm very confident in that, in which I know they won't, because our Maroon Goons and Isaiah Spiller, 2 people, and our fullback. Do not forget about our fullback. We're one of the very few teams that have a fullback, people, and we use him. And our fullback. Then we're going to be looking at a 28-0 score before halftime. And I mean that. If y'all don't get at least 1 or 2 sacks off of those blitzes that you're calling, I'm talking to you, Tennessee. If y'all don't get at least 1 or 2 sacks off of those blitzes that y'all calling, we're looking at a 28-0 score before halftime even kicks in. And I can tell you right now, if it's 21-0 before we get to, if it's 21-0 first quarter, you can go ahead and drop everything that you're doing. The fans will start leaving out the stadium come third quarter, and that's going to be the ball game. That's going to be the ball game. Once again, I told you before, Jeremy Pruitt looks confused. His team looks confused. The fan base looks confused. At the end of the day, that didn't Texas A&M fault. We're moving at a pace of what we're taking one game at a time, and we're potentially going on the road and looking to be the better team. We're learning how to win on the road. We're learning. We're moving faster than what we expected to move. All right? So, anywho. Also, the running back, great. I want to talk about this man. Also, the running back, great. Please believe that we'll be ready for him. We'll be ready for him because that young man is fast. He's fast and real fast. But our defensive line is playing at an elite level and ready for competition. Okay? Mark my words on that. They're ready for competition. They're looking at them. They want them. They're hungry. Michael Clemens isn't going to be out there. That's fine. Like I say, we don't know who all will not be out there come game day. But that's fine. The roster that we have is out this world for the defensive line spot. Okay? So please believe in it. That's all I have. We're not going to continue to talk. It's not going to be a long episode. But that's all I have. That's all I got. My prediction, once again, 41-3. At the end of the day, if they're going to blitz all game, Jared Garantano, he didn't put any fear in us. The freshman quarterback, he didn't put any fear in us. Things like that. I will say this. They come out there and Tennessee doesn't show anything. we may be looking at a 50-0 score at the end of the day. And if we get 50 points to 0, I can tell you this right now. Then I'll talk about college football playoff chances. I don't like to do that because of the simple fact that we need to see more from this team. But we will have a realistic shot. I will say that. We will have a realistic shot. But that's all I have. That's all I have for today. I just want you guys to let that sink in. Like I say, we ain't going to be alone. I will come out with all of my statistics on tomorrow and things like that, and we'll get on board about that. Okay? So, once again, the show is sponsored by Doping Styles and King's Beard Grooming Company. Once again, it's the hashtag Homemade Podcast Sports with your host, J Pops. Guys, please follow me on Instagram at JPops2020. Follow me on Twitter at JPops05. And follow me on Facebook at JPops. And also hashtag Homemade Podcast Sports. And if you guys did not know, that is a separate page. That is a page where I also post all of my YouTube content and stuff like that. So once again, guys, I thank you guys and I love you guys for tuning in. Continue to tell a friend and hit that subscribe button. Keep on hitting that subscribe button. Tell me what you guys want to talk about and want to hear about and things like that. The only reason why I haven't discussed the playoffs yet is because I still want to see more from this team. You know what I mean? Just like the rest of us. So once again, it's the hashtag Homemade Podcast Sports with host J Pops. Hashtag Gigamag.
And thank you guys for tuning in to the hashtag Homemade Podcast Sports. Please, guys, subscribe to the YouTube page and also follow me on Twitter at JPops, on Instagram at JPops, and also on Facebook at hashtag Homemade Podcast Sports. Thank you guys once again. Hashtag Gigamag.